explaining the work we've done. We thought it was important because we didn't wake up one morning saying, oh, wind and solar, great, let's do a 60-page report. A lot of hours went into modeling, calculating, revising the assumptions, double-checking. It's not a pipe dream, it's a robust proposal. But it's time for us now to say what our recommendation is based on all the work we've done. And the proposal is the Bermuda Better Energy Plan. It consists of a gradual increase in decentralized solar energy and bulk solar, leading to a total capacity of 84 megawatts of solar energy. It consists of 60 megawatts of wind, so 10 times 6 megawatts wind turbines. It consists of efforts in energy efficiency and storage. And this will all lead to a future where 64% of the electricity is generated with renewable energy. Once all the alternative proposals were submitted to the regulatory authority, they've commissioned a multinational company, Ricardo Energy and Environment, to assess all the proposals. And this is an extract from their report, so it doesn't come from us. They've reviewed our proposals against the requirements of the Electricity Act and against the guidelines of how to prepare a good IRP. And on one hand, we were really pleased because it seems that we're ticking most of the boxes, and actually the seventh box that we're not ticking, it's something that we would like to do with Belco because they know a lot on that aspect. We were slightly upset by the asterisk here because we've made a lot of efforts like today, to share our assumptions very transparently so that they could be understood and so that they could be challenged. But Ricardo thought that the assumptions were not entirely justified, so fair enough. But beyond what Ricardo thought, we thought it would be worth repeating the 6 key advantages of the Bermuda Better Energy Plan. So first of all, 64% of the electricity can come from renewables. Renewable energy costs less. You could source your energy locally and stop relying on imports. The effect on what you could do on climate change would be amazing. It would be a 60% carbon reduction. It's amazing. It's the kind of things that the world needs to start doing now. I don't know if you heard the great interview this morning, but Davina, who I think is here, said we've got 12 years to do something. Well, this is certainly doing something. You can create jobs in local energy, and that's direct jobs in renewable energy, but also, if money stays on the island instead of going elsewhere for the imports, if energy costs are cheaper, it means more money for the local economy, and therefore more indirect jobs. And finally, diversified energy supply means a more resilient energy supply. So, all this together, we think, are 6 very good reasons to consider this proposal very seriously. And coming back to the slide we had earlier, this just shows where we would move Bermuda. So we're moving away from a position which would be slightly risky in our opinion, because in terms of competitiveness, who wants to have such a small proportion of renewable energy in the future, to a place where, you'd be up there with everyone, and this is not a target, this is a robust position you could be in by 2038 and, steadily until that point. So this is the end of our technical presentation. Stuart will say a few words. Before he comes, I just wanted to thank him and everyone at BE Solar, because for this company in the community to have the courage to spot the opportunity, do something, fund it, because it takes money to do this. Really, I thought it was a fantastic, very brave and very generous decision. I wanted to thank Green Rock, BEST, and the Solar Energy Association for supporting the plan, and also everyone, and there must be a few of you in the audience today, who are funding this. We've got a crowdfunding campaign, and for you to donate your own money to be able to do this is amazing. So we really feel humbled to see so much courage, so much generosity from people of the island.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow there. And thank you everyone for sticking around and for taking the time to come here. So why did we do this? What is this all about? One thing to mention is the process does not follow best practice. In other parts of the world, when a big 20-year energy study is going to be developed, everyone sits around together at the table. You'd have Belco, you'd have the government, you'd have the community that are here tonight, you'd have people like B-Solar and everyone else, BAE, AES, other solar companies. You'd have wide representation. You'd formulate this all together from the beginning. So we're at a different stage here, where we've got a company ascending 1% of their annual revenue is over $2 million. So they can take 5 years, they could spend $2 million, it's a drop in the bucket, spend a long time creating a robust report, and to have the public expected to rebut that at that point is pretty crazy. So we ended up a few weeks before the deadline, and we had a dear friend, Barrett Lightbourne, who is a real shining star for Bermuda. He was a real behind-the-scenes solar advocate who was an energy expert, and he was installing solar here in the 70s and 80s. Some of his systems are still producing solar today, and we said, we've got to do something in memory of Barrett. So we're dedicating this to him, and his family has helped fund. But I wanted to make that clear that we're on the back foot, but together we can win this, and by winning I mean doing what's right for Bermuda. So this plan started out as a plan that E2 did, and they have put in over $10,000 worth of extra time for free for Bermuda. We're very lucky. Thank you. And we're incredibly lucky to have the support. And I think they didn't really talk about their accolades. These are not your typical run-of-the-mill folks here. So Dora is a PhD electrical engineer. She knows her stuff. Chris Warboys is his master's in renewable energy. He's Passive House certified. He helped write the energy white paper. He's one of us. He's Bermudian. And that's why we asked E2 to do it. And it's an honor to have him back here. A lot of people say, Chris, why aren't you back here all the time? But it's great to have him here now. And then you've got Thomas, who's a mechanical engineer, his master's, and I think Bermuda, it was a serious investment to make this happen, but it was the right thing to do, and it's probably the best value for money Bermuda's ever got, but we can't let it stop here. There's a crowdfunding website, Indiegogo.com. I'm going to skip forward to that slide. So far, the people listed there have helped raise almost $10,000. We're trying to get to $17,000 so that E2 can continue their great work. So we're hopeful that more people will donate. We've had people donate $50 because that's all they can support. We've had people donate $1,000, and we really appreciate everyone's support there. And I want to make a special mention again to Green Rock, who's been incredible, donating so much time and energy. Tonight, the projectors were broken, so Eugene made this screen happen, and he's been amazing. You probably heard him on the radio, Davida and the whole Green Rock team, Jonathan Starling. Best has been phenomenal. Nick Hutchins has been massive, Kim Smith, Ann Hyde at KBB. Together, we can do amazing things. And I want to make a special shout to my team at B-Solar, because I haven't been in the office a whole lot lately. It's been a lot of time and energy to make this happen. It takes away from the day-to-day work. So I've got the best team in Bermuda on the solar industry, and we're very proud to work with them. But why did we do all this? because you have to take the destiny into your own hands here. We have to be the change we want to see, and we can. This process was set up so that everyone can make their voice heard. It's as easy as emailing electricity@rab.bm. A lot of us are so busy day to day, it's hard to carve out time to get involved, even when we can. A lot of times we can. This is an opportunity where we can. So we've got to the 30th of November to make sure our voices are heard. If you don't have a lot of time to get into it, please go to betterenergyplan.bm. You'll get a lot of information there. Just quickly email electricity@rb.bm. You can handwrite a note and drop it off to the RB or by City Hall. B Solar would be happy to help get that information in. I'm sure BAE and other people would, Green Rock. But make sure you get something in. If you can make the time, please do. Take the time to write a detailed response. Maybe you find articles that support an argument that makes sense for Bermuda. Provide that good response. Because if the RA gets a few hundred responses that says we want a better plan for Bermuda, then that goes on public record, and it makes it very difficult to do something else. So I want to make that very clear. That's the biggest goal, is to have as many people as possible to do as many detailed responses as possible to the RA. So I've probably already spoken too much, so I'm going to just say a big thanks again to everyone for coming. And let's keep it going. Let's not stop here. We've got to the 30th of November to change the tide and make sure the status quo doesn't happen. And absolutely, you know, a point was raised that, we've met a few political leaders, a few business leaders. Very few people know about this, and it's scary. And someone said, look, we need to have more energy leadership. Where's the political will and leadership to make this happen? And I've seen some encouraging signs from the current government. We've got a rebate program in place. I think we're going to see some interesting things said tomorrow about green jobs in the throne speech. But here's the reality, and I was taught this in California where I did my solar studies. The people lead, the leaders follow, okay? When the politicians see how many people are here tonight, they see there's a lot of votes, they see there's a lot of people interested in one topic, we make our voices heard, and the leaders will come and follow, because it'll raise their awareness and they'll get engaged. So, question or comment?
I'd like to say something on that point.
Yes, absolutely. And we will open up to questions and then do door prizes after.
Yeah, that's it's such an important point. So this whole process is happening because of an Electricity Act that was passed in 2016, and that act basically sets Belco their plan as the default plan for Bermuda. The only way an alternative to that plan will be developed is if, you know, we go through the process we've been through. So if those 50 people didn't donate their money and that $10,000, it wouldn't have happened. If ETU didn't donate their time for free for a lot of the work, it wouldn't have happened. If B Solar didn't donate their initial fee to do the work, it wouldn't have happened. And in each of those cases, Bermuda would just be going with Belco's plan. So, having seen what you've seen this evening, in terms of the costs of the different plans and where they're leading, how can it be that it's sensible to have a legal process which would effectively lead us, probably in the wrong direction? Bermuda deserves better than that. It can be fixed, and we need our politicians to fix that. The legislation needs to be changed.
Yes. So very quickly, we just have a brief video to show you. In the presentation, there was a lot of references made to small island states, and we have a short video.